Hey guys, how are we doing? It's Sunday, the 3rd, 4th, something like that. Super Bowl Sunday, but that doesn't do much for me, so I'm out in the garage. And hopefully for the rest of the day, and get a bunch of stuff done. Do a little catch up on what I've been working on. Amongst other things, I'm back on the bus, and the bus has bumpers. Yes. Had all the plastics down in the garage and all my meat hooks hanging from the ceiling, and I had about 35 some odd pieces hanging that I primed and painted, which was the bumper parts, window parts, door parts, and primed and painted them last week, end of last week, and after that got them all reassembled, put back on the bus. They look quite nice. And the lighting in here kind of sucks a little bit, but you can get the general idea. For the twisted up pieces of crap that I started with, they actually came out quite nice, surprisingly. And while I'm back here, the rear pan was damaged in this one. This bus took a tag in the ass end at some point, and somebody hammered it back out. And I thought I had one to fit here, but I didn't. So for now, this is right here is like a double wall right in here. I took them and just pretty much drilled them the backsides out larger so the bolts can kind of line up. If you can kind of see, the pan's got a bow to it, but the bolts want to go straight in. So that's corrected, and now the lid shuts and locks nicely. The gaps are quite good enough for me anyway. So at some point I'm going to put a rear bumper on this, a rear trailer hitch, and I believe that's what these holes were put in there for, and I'm going to leave them. If I don't, I'll just cap them with like bumper bolts so you don't see them, but that's the plan. So that's that side, and then we got the front one on there, and the front one came out quite nice also. Nice and straight. It still is missing, there's brackets that go on below the doors there that help support the bumper, so the bumper kind of is still shaky right now. You can kind of move it around a little. Anyway. Shimmy shimmy cocoa pop. The overrider was junk on it. It was twisted like a pretzel, and these two front pushers, I don't know what anything's called. Make it up as I go along. These were off of a rear bumper, and you kind of see I got the gaps quite good. Worked out quite well. This is these are fatter for the rear with only one hole going in them. Drilled them, bent them, twisted them, got them to do what they're supposed to do. And the overrider bar itself, or towel bar, was busted up all in the middle. Wasn't worth fixing, so I cut it. Probably, I don't know, right about here, and the same on the other side. And got a piece of conduit from Home Depot. Went out in the backyard in the tree and bent the curve, welded it together, and then just kind of filled it. If you look close, you can kind of see where it kind of tapers down just a little bit. But if I didn't tell you, you wouldn't know. So I'm happy with the way that came out. Got the rubber pieces that need to go in on a deluxe bus. There's a trim that is a higher level, and that's part of it right there. And there's also chrome that goes down the sides. So that's where I am with that stuff. Got the bumpers on, and today I figure I would screw with the door windows. What you see there is the upper section that pops in, and they have a wing window in the front, and then there's like a piece of glass and a piece of glass, and you can slide them forward or backwards. Those being right there. I have never should back up. I bought this bus, oh geez, I don't know how long ago now, probably 8 years ago, 10 years ago, something like that. I was coming back from a VW show up in northern Vermont, and it was in a farmer's field. He dragged it out there with his tractor. He wrapped it around the engine and pulled it out there, and he actually pulled the engine and transmission off their mounts. They weren't even connected. And it was just a pile of parts in it, primer, and a bunch of really shitty bodywork, you know, rivets and metal for your ductwork in your house pretty much is what was holding it together. So cleaned up the metal work, not totally, but the stuff that I did came out really well. The stuff that was already done that I didn't dig into is so-so. Alright, too long of a story, but anyway, it was a basket case. Came with all the junk in there, so I really don't know what I do and what I don't have as I'm putting it together. Someone went and bought a whole bunch of gaskets for the doors and all, but of course, you know, nothing's labeled. It just looks like a bunch of spaghetti to try to figure out what it is. And so I went through and kind of made my little piles and found out what I did have. That's all the stuff for the front windows there. I believe it's probably going to be complete. And these rubbers right here go in the holes for the windows. So they would, without the glass there, they go around the frame. They got a little channel in them. And they pretty much pop in there and go around the frame. And then the windows themselves have another seal on them. And I did not have those seals. So I went on eBay. I found all of them for like 41 bucks delivered, all 6 of them. They'll be here in a few days, but I figure I'd do the front windows and doors setup. So if you look, you can see the passenger side, the driver's side rather, is in. Unfortunately, it looks like this one probably got tweaked at some point. I did not fit them before I painted them. I did not even think I would have an issue. But if you notice, you can see how it's bowed here in the center. That's because when I went to go stuff it in the hole of the door, it wanted to be out here. So I have a feeling that right here it got tweaked, or right here it got tweaked, one of the two. So I need to try to work that out and massage it so that it lays flat without beating the crap out of the paint. But we'll see how that works out. And you see the wing window doesn't fit right neither. There's like a rivet that goes up here, and those gaps are supposed to be right together. You can see that that's tweaked. That shouldn't be that big of a deal to get it in though. And the one for the passenger side looks much better. You can kind of see how everything lines up. And that goes like it's supposed to. So I just need to start figuring out how it all bolts together and see what I have for hardware. And just putting all the tracks together. This is the lower track that the windows slide in. So that's where I am to aid in my assembly, because it is winter time and it is 20 degrees out, and it was 10 degrees last night, so all this stuff is roughly 10-15 degrees right now. We took the heater, my other heater, that's one of those patio jobbers there, and I took the lid, unbolted the lid, flipped it over and stuck it back on top, and in that we're getting ready to cook lobsters, or maybe in the summertime. But for now, heating that water up, and that is going to be the heat to heat up the rubber components so that they all slide together easier. And hopefully I don't bump into that sucker and knock it over. Yes. Wonderful time of the year. Snowing. So walk out to the tent. I took all the pieces that I painted. I just kind of put them out in the tent garage because I had other work to do that I didn't want to get beat up. So here's those windows, and you can kind of see how crappy those rubbers are on top. They've been painted half a dozen times, even though I masked them off, from other people in the past. Looks like one of them's new. That one looks like it's new. But they'll probably be here in a week or so, and I'm going to concentrate on the front doors. I wouldn't get to those yet anyway, but pretty much probably the same idea. I'll see what I can do about probably dropping the whole window in there to soak them, to get them warm, to get that old rubber out of there, because there's a channel that's in there, and I tried taking them out when I masked them off and it wasn't happening. So I have a feeling if I soak them, the rubber gets really soft, they should fall right out of there, as long as the paint doesn't come off with it. And I was running around with a tape measure, and this is what I wanted to use for a front seat, and the problem is that is 50 inches wide and I need about 57 inches wide. So I have a feeling we're going to be just getting new wood, and not that wood's all that great anyway, and scabbing onto them and replacing them and making them longer. Cut the arms off, because you're not going to be able to get in and out of the bus with them in the way, and of course cut the bottoms off right here, right across the bottoms, and just try to keep the scroll work and stuff that's on there. I think it's got kind of a neat looking pattern to it, So we'll see how that works out. Dimension-wise, as far as how the sides are, it kind of fits the opening of the bus quite well. It comes right level with the back part of the where the seat sits, and then that lines right up with the front of it. So it actually does fit quite well. And I got to make it so that the whole thing kind of flips up and flips down, because there's a spare tire behind it. Ain't that true? What are we up to? Getting up there. We're at 23 degrees. Yeah, if you look, that's where the spare tire sits, so you got to be able to access that, so I can make the whole seat flip up. And I said the back of it comes almost right about flush, almost dead even with this, and the front I think comes to right about there. So that's not bad. I could deal with that. Might even make it so it slides forward and back a little, so we could do this without smashing my window. It's just hanging there. So that's where I am. I figure I'd try to get some of this stuff knocked out today. I think I'm gonna run to the diner and go have lunch or brunch or whatever the hell it is, and everything should be fairly warmed up by then. The big furnace is going. That doesn't take that long to heat the garage up. It's a regular, it's a furnace out of a mobile home, like a 60-foot mobile home, and it's like 120,000 BTUs. Just uses oil, which I'm just tapping off of jugs. That's my heat supply. Figure each one of those costs 15-20 bucks, and you get about a day out of each one of them. So. Alright guys, I'm going to be done yapping. I just wanted to show you where we are with this, and getting psyched as more pieces get on it, and kind of it drives the project forward, because you start seeing some, this is the part of the project where you see it moving forward. You see there's something to be shown at the end of the day that you get accomplished each time. So once I get the windows all cleaned up in this thing and sorted up, I can jump on the wiring, get all the lights and wires and all that mess cleaned up, and we're getting pretty close. It does run and drive now, so hopefully by springtime we'll have this baby rocking and rolling and cruising. Yeah guys, I'm done yapping. Thanks for watching, and take care.